Welcome to this explainer. We're diving straight into the ultimate question for watch collectors today. Which Omega Speedmaster Professional should you actually get? Look, the Speedmaster holds a truly special place in horological history, but let's be real. Deciding exactly which iteration deserves a spot on your wrist has become an increasingly complex journey. Here is our roadmap for today. We're going to cover the Moonwatch legend, define what actually makes a professional, tackle the great Hesalite versus Sapphire debate, check out the expanded modern lineup, and finally, figure out which Speedmaster is right for you. Section 1. The Moonwatch Legend, from racetrack to the lunar surface. To really understand the modern options, we gotta ground ourselves in the sheer historical gravity of this thing. I mean, it's wild to think the Speedmaster actually started out in 1957 as a racing watch. The CK2915 was famous for moving the tachymeter scale right to the outer bezel. It wasn't until 1962 that astronaut Wally Schirra wore his own personal CK2998 into space. That sparked NASA's interest, and by 1965, the ST-105.012 endured an absolute gauntlet of torture tests to be officially flight qualified. The legend was totally cemented in 1969 when Buzz Aldrin took it to the lunar surface. But honestly, the ultimate proof of its capability came in 1970, when the crew literally used it to time the Apollo 13 survival descent burn. Section 2. Defining the professional. What makes a true moonwatch? So, building on all that lore, what actually makes a modern moonwatch professional? Well, it follows a pretty strict classic blueprint. We're talking that 42mm asymmetrical case, which, by the way, wears much closer to a 40 because of those extended crown guards. You also need the twisted lyre-style lugs, a clean 3-register no-date layout, and a domed crystal. Mechanically, it's got to be driven by the manually wound Calibre 3861 master chronometer, and it sits on a beautifully tapered bracelet that now features a really handy tool-free micro-adjustable clasp. And this is where we have to be absolutely ruthless with the Omega catalog. We are cutting out some serious fan favorites here. The Speedmaster 38, the Dark Side of the Moon series, the 57, and even the first Omega in space. None of these qualify as Moonwatch professionals. Take the first Omega in space, for example. It's got straight lugs and a 39mm case, which pays an awesome tribute to early history, but technically it is not the watch that touched down on the lunar surface. Section 3. Hesalite versus Sapphire, the great debate. All right, here it is, the most agonizing choice in all of horology. Which of the two foundational pillars of the modern lineup are you going to choose? On one hand, you've got the purist Hesalite model. It keeps the fully printed dial logo, the fully brushed bracelet interior links, and that classic shatter-resistant domed acrylic crystal with a closed caseback. On the other hand, the Sapphire sandwich model modernizes the whole formula. You get an applied Omega logo, highly polished stripes on those interior bracelet links, a slightly less exaggerated dome traded with anti-reflective coating, and of course, a stunning Sapphire exhibition caseback. Now, if you do go the Hesalite route, you get this amazing, almost scripture-like text engraved right into a solid steel caseback. It literally says, "Flight qualified by NASA in 1965 for all manned space missions, the first watch worn on the moon." Talk about reinforcing that authentic tool watch ethos, right? It's just so cool. But then you look at the Sapphire model. It actually gives you a slightly thinner profile at 13.18mm, way better scratch resistance, and an incredible view of that 3861 movement. The trade-off? Well, it comes with a not insignificant $1,200 premium. You're looking at $9,000 compared to the Hesalite's $7,800. Oh, and here is a brilliant pro tip straight from the former head of design at Omega. You can literally tell the difference between the two by pressing the crystal right against your forehead. Seriously, step 1, put it against your forehead. Step 2, notice the temperature. Because Sapphire has much higher thermal conductivity, it is going to feel significantly colder than the acrylic. You might get some seriously weird looks at the boutique, but hey, it works every single time. Section 4. Expanding the modern lineup. Lacquer, pandas, and precious metals. Stepping beyond those classic black dials, Omega has recently injected some absolutely stunning variety into the professional series. Take the 2024 White Lacquer dial. You probably saw this on Daniel Craig before it even officially dropped, and it is a massive deal. It totally flips the script by adding a glossy step dial, stark black print, and striking PVD-coated applied indices and hands. They even threw in a pop of red on the Speedmaster text. This is an incredibly rare, permanent white dial addition to the professional family. And keeping that momentum rolling, we have the highly anticipated 2026 Reverse Panda. We got a sneak peek of this at the 2025 Met Gala, and wow, it introduces a super complex two-plate varnished and lacquered dial construction. Plus, it rocks a ceramic dot over 90 bezel insert, bringing a massive upmarket aesthetic that'll be available in both stainless steel and a gorgeous yellow moonshine gold. Now, if you're ready to climb into the five-figure range, the lineup dramatically expands into the precious metal tier. We are talking stunning two-tone options and full solid gold references in Sedna, Moonshine, and Canopus White Gold. And if you really want to drop jaws, the exotic dials, especially that Moonshine Gold paired with a deep green dial, are absolutely spectacular. Section 5. Choosing your Speedmaster. Finding your match. All right, we've covered a ton of specs, so let's pull it all together and figure out exactly which watch profile matches your specific collector personality. Let's hit that classic dilemma first. If you want to strictly uphold the exact astronaut specification, you love that warm vintage feel, and honestly, you enjoy buffing out your own scratches, you are the purist. The Hesalite is 100% for you. But if you respect the core identity but you want modern daily practicality with scratch resistance and a view of that stellar 380-61 movement, you're the contemporary collector. Welcome to the Sapphire camp. Or maybe you're looking at the new dials. If you already have a watch box full of black dials and you want something with serious visual pop and expressive contrast, you are aesthetics-driven. That makes the Reverse Panda your highly expressive match. On the flip side, the White Lacquer perfectly suits the Maverick, someone who really wants to channel that 1957 racetrack energy instead of just leaning entirely into the traditional space aesthetic. And finally, for our precious metal buyers, a full solid gold Speedmaster is the ultimate stealth luxury play. It offers an incredible in-the-know luxury alternative to those typical flashy gold sports watches you see everywhere. Meanwhile, the two-tone options are really for the contrarian. It remains an incredibly underrated choice for someone seeking a boldly unexpected personality that doesn't just scream for constant attention. So, with a lineup this iconic, and honestly, this versatile, there's really only one question left for you to answer. What kind of legacy do you want sitting on your wrist? Are you looking to preserve a literal piece of space history? Or are you ready to write your own modern chapter? Thanks so much for diving into this explainer with me, and I hope this clears up your journey to finding the perfect moonwatch.